NVIDIA was another name mentioned, and we always check in on NVIDIA. It's one of the most, if not the most important name to this market. So given some of the pullback in shares, I mean, where do you see some potential catalysts for NVIDIA now into the new year?
Sure. I think, Jenny, the pullback in shares really comes from our perspective at least, it comes from this battle between Google and OpenAI. You know, whether Google's going to be the player in the AI race or OpenAI. And clearly, Google uses a little bit of a different type of technology. I still believe that the GPU is the workhorse of AI. This lead, if you will, that Google has taken over OpenAI has caused NVIDIA to pull back just a tad, but I believe it's more of a game of leapfrog, like we used to play whenever we were children, right? The leader is only the leader for a period of time until the new leader takes place, and oftentimes it was the former leader that takes place. OpenAI is making some big moves here, and with that, NVIDIA. I also use the analogy that no matter what horse is racing, if you will, the horses of AI, no matter what horse is racing, it races best, at least to this date, it races best on the track of AI. If you catch my analogy there, the GPU that NVIDIA makes, the track of NVIDIA, that is the fastest track for a lot of these AI horses. And I believe that we as a firm are bullish on this name simply for that reason alone.
Dig right into the market reaction. We're joined now by Mira Pandit, global market strategist with JP Morgan Asset Management. So the market's, digesting the consumer sentiment number somewhat in stride, kind of more of the same that we've seen for much of this year. From a sentiment standpoint, we've gotten some pretty decent AI indicators over the last few days with the Micron earnings. There's news that OpenAI could be raising at a significantly high valuation of $830 billion, at least that's what they're targeting. How important do you think that theme will be going into 2026?
The theme of our outlook next year is AI lift and economic drift. So you think about some of these consumer sentiment numbers, some of these existing home sale numbers. We may continue to see the data around the economy soften, but the AI trade is still alive and well. And the way we evaluate that AI trade, EVAL, is earnings, valuations, adoption, leverage. From an earnings standpoint, you've seen double-digit earnings growth in the Mag 7 since early 2023. The upward revisions that are going on within those stocks are pretty impressive for 2026 and full year 2025 relative to downward revisions for the rest of the index. And the earnings surprises that you continue to get out of those stocks continue to be well above the market average. So you have past, present, and future earnings. On the valuations front, 28 times forward earnings. Expensive, but not extreme. Certainly nothing like the 70x you saw in tech stocks coming out of the internet boom. On adoption, this is a little bit tricky. It's a lot of survey data in terms of who's adopting AI and who's not. But we hope to see an increase in business adoption, some of that stickier adoption. But so far, a number of businesses are reporting that they're using AI to produce their goods and services and operating with paid subscriptions. And then on the leverage point, you look at hyperscaler net leverage. It's about 0.8 relative to the average issuer in the investment grade space at about 2.6. So these companies are leveraging their cash. And when they are tapping the capital markets for debt, they still have it's smart capital allocation. They still have reasonable, sound balance sheets. So we still feel like those fundamentals will be intact for next year, driving that AI trade.
And there's, of course, the rest of the market, too. On the micro front, just today, you've got Nike lower on its results, FedEx impacted by cost pressures, KB Home citing downside risk for next year. So it seems like, outside of AI, there are certain situations that may be sounding the alarm into next year. Is that your read as you talk about the economic drift, as you call it?
As you look at S&P 500 returns and you start to see the pickup in the 493, it is still very much an AI story. It's just that AI story is broadening out to utilities, industrials, et cetera, a lot of the enablers of overall AI. Now, you have a counterweight in areas like financials that have still produced very impressive profits, could still benefit from things like deregulation, steepening yield curve, good macro environment. So if I'm thinking outside the AI trade, that's my favorite area when we think about those fundamentals. But again, we still have these looming issues in the background that when you look at margins in the S&P 500, areas like tech are skewing them higher. You look at the bottom end of the range when we think about margins, and some of those consumer sectors are still struggling. And that tariff impact, while it may not be a surge in terms of higher pricing and higher cost pressures, it's still going to feed into some of those sectors, and they have to be really smart about how they're appealing to consumers in a more K-shaped economy where that lower and middle income consumer is getting squeezed.
Early on Friday, Nvidia stock increased as investors responded to indications that the company would be getting official U.S. approval to start exporting some AI chips to China again, reducing one of the biggest concerns affecting the stock. In early trade, the chipmaker's shares were up around 3% at 183.40. The Nvidia stock saw a 1.9% increase on Thursday, although it is still down about 1.4% over the previous 3 months due to ongoing market apprehension about exposure to China and export limitations. Uncertainty about whether Nvidia would recover access to China's rapidly expanding AI chip market has been one of the main factors hurting the company's stock. There appears to be progress on that front, at least in terms of regulations, based on developments in Washington. The U.S. Commerce Department has submitted license applications pertaining to Nvidia's chip sales to China for interagency review by the State Department, the Department of Energy, and the Department of Defense, according to Reuters, which cited people with knowledge of the situation. Before export licenses can be issued, the review procedure must be completed. President Donald Trump stated earlier this month that he might permit shipments of Nvidia's H200 chip to China as long as the business donates a quarter of its profits to the U.S. government. Although final clearance has not yet been given, the suggestion signaled a possible change in U.S. policy. Nvidia's most recent generation Blackwell processors, which are increasingly produced at Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing utilizing more sophisticated process nodes, are more powerful than the H200 chip. Nvidia is anticipated to have more capacity to create H200 processors as production moves toward newer chips. If approvals are obtained, this capacity may be assigned to China. There are still regulatory obstacles in China, though. Whether Beijing will permit domestic enterprises to buy the H200 in bulk is still up in the air. The uncertainty around the possible reopening of the market was highlighted when the Financial Times previously reported, citing people involved with the discussions, that Chinese regulators are considering granting only restricted access to the chips. In early trade, Advanced Micro Devices and Broadcom, among other semiconductor firms, increased 2.3% and 1.8% respectively. Washington's developments are pertinent to the entire industry because AMD is also awaiting U.S. approval to export certain chips to China. Bernstein contends that following a protracted period of multiple compression, Nvidia shares are currently trading at historically good levels, despite their seeming high price. Despite ongoing higher adjustments to earnings projections, Bernstein said in a research note headed by analyst Stacy Rasgon that Nvidia's stock performance has underperformed this year. Even while projections have been rising steadily this year, the company pointed out that Nvidia has significantly outperformed the SOX index, despite being up almost 30% so far. Nvidia's valuation has significantly decreased as a result. According to Bernstein, the stock's forward price-to-earnings multiple is currently just under 25x, having dropped 27% over the course of the year. Bernstein emphasized historical context, even though a 25x multiple would not seem inexpensive in absolute terms. According to Rasgon, a 25x forward EPS for this firm would indicate that the shares are currently trading in the 11th percentile of valuation over the previous 10 years. The business says relative valuation seems even more attractive. According to Bernstein, Nvidia is in the first percentile relative to the SOX index, trading at about a 13% discount. Only 13 days in the last 10 years have Nvidia's shares traded lower than the SOX, according to the company. Additionally, Bernstein cited Nvidia's past results at comparable valuation levels. According to the company, investors who have purchased Nvidia stock at present prices have historically done quite well. Over the previous 10 years, purchases made below 25x projected earnings have produced average one-year returns of over 150%, with no instances of a negative drawdown. After a Reuters story stated that the U.S. government has begun a study related to advanced chip exports to China, Nvidia shares increased by almost 3% in Friday morning trade, setting the stock up for a weekly gain. According to a press release issued Friday and sources familiar with the situation, The action came after indications that the Trump administration may move forward with plans to permit limited sales of Nvidia's H200 artificial intelligence chips to Chinese consumers. Following President Donald Trump's earlier statement that sales may proceed provided the U.S. government collected a 25% fee, investors seem to see the review as a step toward possible approvals. He has maintained that by reducing demand for local Chinese alternatives, the program might help American chipmakers maintain their competitiveness. According to sources, the state, energy, and defense departments have received license applications for interagency review from the U.S. Commerce Department, which is in charge of export restrictions. Timelines are still unknown, and the procedure is not open to the public. There are also concerns about the speed at which licenses could be given, and if Chinese officials would allow local businesses to buy the chips. Lawmakers who are worried about national security and the military's use of cutting-edge AI technology have criticized the plan. After news that U.S. antitrust authorities approved Nvidia's stake in Intel, and a Reuters report that the Trump administration started examining Nvidia H200 chip exports to China. Because investors saw the news as an indication that President Trump would follow through on his promise to enable Nvidia to sell advanced chips to China in exchange for a 25% charge to the government, the move placed shares of the largest corporation in the world on track for a week-long gain. The state, energy, and defense departments received license applications from the U.S. Commerce Department for the sale of Nvidia's cutting-edge processors, according to Reuters. These departments will evaluate the possible chip exports over the course of the next 30 days. For months, Nvidia has been urging the Trump administration to authorize its exports of cutting-edge chips to China, which would increase the company's access to a vital market. However, several Wall Street analysts have pointed out that there are still obstacles in the way of removing China's export prohibitions on chips. Giving China access to America's cutting-edge microprocessor technology might reduce the U.S.'s advantage in artificial intelligence, according to national security experts. The question of whether China would accept the chips is another. Trump also prohibited the export of Nvidia's H20 processors to China in April, but he later changed his mind in July. But because of national security concerns, Beijing instructed the nation's tech businesses not to buy the chips. However, when the larger tech sector recovered, the news that the Trump administration was fulfilling its promise to permit the semiconductor exports spurred a rally among other chip makers and chip developers. After the Federal Trade Commission cleared Nvidia's $5 billion investment in Intel, the company's shares surged 3%, and Nvidia stock also reached session highs. Advanced Micro Devices, on the other hand, increased by more than 5.6%. Broadcom saw a 2.5% increase. Additionally, following Thursday's 10% increase, investors continued their post-earnings purchasing binge, causing Micron stock to rise 6%. According to a notice published by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission, Nvidia's investment in Intel has been approved by U.S. antitrust authorities. Nvidia announced in September that it would invest $5 billion in Intel, putting its weight behind the faltering U.S. chipmaker in a deal that might put rival manufacturers, Taiwan's TSMC and U.S.-based AMD, at risk, even if the notice did not go into specifics. President Trump's promise to reopen the Chinese market, which Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang previously predicted could generate billions of dollars in revenue, is now a reality thanks to this procedural milestone. Additionally, Tigris Financial reiterated its strong buy recommendation and increased its price objective for the stock to $350, citing the company's leadership in data center computing and AI infrastructure. A Bernstein analyst added to the euphoric feeling by stating that the stock appeared unusually cheap and that it was still rated as an outperform investment. The shares cooled to $179.54 after the initial surge, up 3.2% from the previous close. Over the past year, Nvidia's shares have had 19 swings of more than 5%, making them extremely volatile. In that regard, today's action suggests that the market views this news as significant, but not as anything that would significantly alter its opinion of the company. The last significant event we discussed was 8 days ago, when the stock fell 3.6% as a result of a wider sell-off in the industry brought on by Oracle's dismal earnings report, which raised concerns about excessive expenditure on AI. Many of Nvidia's data center processors are purchased by the cloud computing behemoth Oracle, whose quarterly sales fell short of analysts' projections. Oracle surprised investors at the same time by increasing its projected capital spending for fiscal 2026 by $15 billion to a total of $50 billion. This combination stoked investors' suspicions of an AI bubble by raising concerns that the enormous expenditure on AI infrastructure would not be sustainable. Other AI-related businesses were impacted by the unfavorable sentiment that permeated the tech industry. As investors reevaluated the short-term forecast for the whole AI industry, shares of other chip makers also declined. At $179.54 per share, Nvidia is still 13.3% off its 52-week high of $207.04 from October 2025, despite having increased 29.8% since the year began. 5 years ago, investors who purchased $1,000 worth of Nvidia shares would today have an investment of $13,467. Investors frequently rely on analyst recommendations when determining whether to purchase, sell, or hold a stock. The price of a company is frequently impacted by media stories regarding rating changes made by these sell-side or brokerage firm-employed analysts, but are they truly significant? Before we talk about the validity of brokerage recommendations and how to take advantage of them, let's see what these Wall Street titans have to say about Nvidia. Based on the actual buy, hold, sell, and other recommendations made by 49 brokerage firms, Nvidia now has an average brokerage recommendation, ABR, of 1.16 on a scale of 1 to 5, strong buy to strong sell. The range between strong buy and buy is roughly represented by an ABR of 1.16. 45 of the 49 suggestions derived from the current ABR are strong buys, while 2 are buys. 91.8% and 4.1% of all recommendations are strong buy and buy, respectively. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.